Millions of individuals possess immense raw potential, yet struggle to execute even the most basic long-term plans. This is a modern cognitive crisis. Brains built for complex processing that are being neutralized by fractured attention spans. Take a young student named Kabir. He was objectively intelligent, with a high baseline for learning, yet he remained stuck in place, unable to turn his capabilities into actual progress. His life was defined by chronic context switching. The moment Kabir attempted to study, the friction of the work triggered a search for distraction. Within just minutes, his focus would derail into a video game, a phone notification, or a conversation with friends. Kabir's father compared the human mind to a wild horse. If a rider fails to actively steer, the horse will follow its own erratic instincts, inevitably pulling the entire journey in the wrong direction. Because Kabir let his attention drift at every impulse, his inherent intelligence was never actually applied to the task. His mental energy was spent switching between distractions rather than solving problems. Raw intelligence is merely a powerful engine. Without the steering mechanism of disciplined focus, this high potential simply provides more raw power to pull you further off course at a higher speed. To address this, Kabir was taken to Guruji, a mentor who specialized in training the mind through physical discipline. Guruji used specific tests to make abstract cognitive failures visible and measurable. He gave Kabir a glass filled to the absolute brim and told him to walk through a garden teeming with distractions, birds, wind, and shouting children, without spilling a single drop. Kabir failed. Every time his eyes darted toward a sudden sound or a movement in the garden, his physical grip faltered. The water sloshed over the rim, leaving the glass half empty by the end of the walk. Guruji used this to illustrate a behavioral framework. The glass itself represents the goal, the specific objective you are trying to hold and protect. The water inside is your focus. It is a finite resource that must be kept level to achieve the objective. The garden represents environmental noise. Every external interruption strikes the container, causing the fluid level to drop and depleting the energy available for the task. Each spilled drop illustrates the cost of a reaction. When you allow environmental noise to pull your attention, you are actively draining the cognitive resources required to reach your destination. Building mental discipline is a process of physiological adaptation. It requires the deliberate breakdown of old habits so the brain can repair itself with stronger neural pathways. Kabir began by setting rigid environmental boundaries. He standardized his waking hours, locked away his phone during work blocks, and committed to finishing one specific task before moving to the next. To actively strengthen his control, he began daily morning meditation. This wasn't about relaxation, but about active cognitive training. This flowchart shows the mechanics of a cognitive rep. You aim at the focus in node A, you naturally drift to a distraction at node B, you catch the drift at node C, and you pull the mind back. That final pull is the movement that builds the muscle. In the first weeks, Kabir felt intense mental friction. His brain was accustomed to constant stimulation and fought the new stillness. This discomfort is the primary indicator that the reps are working. The actual workout of discipline happens in the return to the task. Cognitive endurance is built through the repetitive act of noticing a distraction and manually resetting your focus. A year of this protocol culminated in a national competition. Students faced complex problems under a strict, unforgiving time limit. As the pressure mounted, most competitors succumbed to panic. Their attention fractured, causing them to jump between questions without finishing any, wasting their energy in a cycle of stress. Kabir applied the protocol of the water glass. He isolated one problem at a time, blocking out the sound of the ticking clock and the movement of the room until that single task was complete. Kabir won the competition. He didn't win because he had the highest IQ in the room, but because he was the only one capable of applying 100% of his intelligence to the paper. This reveals the core math of achievement. Discipline serves as a mathematical multiplier for your innate abilities. If you have raw talent of 99 but zero discipline, your total output is 0. The engine runs, but the wheels never touch the ground. Kabir's village no longer saw him as just a smart boy. They saw him as someone who had mastered the architecture of his own mind to produce consistent, high-level results. Motivation is a temporary surge that eventually fails. Long-term success is the byproduct of a commitment to the daily protocol of focus. The ability to discipline your mind is the only way to ensure your potential is actually realized.